Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This talk was like prepared really, really, really last minute. I basically wrote a talk, and like I showed it to Shy, and then he said, "I was like, this might be a little bit too complicated. Maybe we should like simple it down, dumb it down, make it a little bit more accessible to people." So this is the first time I'm giving this talk, and I hope you like it, and I hope it's okay. But it's funny to be here like a year since like I got introduced to Qwik at all. And yeah, if you see this picture, right, this is JavaScript Israel. You can see Mishko and Shai, and that bald guy is me. So from being over there to being here, really a privilege, and thank you for coming. So let's get this show on the road. We're gonna try and think quick and see how we can do effortless server communication and some multi-threading. And of course, like I said, this is like last moment, so I might be improvising. My show notes are all destroyed. Thank you, Shai. But let's go. So I'm Yoav. I'm a father, a web developer for past 10, 12 years. I don't even remember. I have a podcast named Fed Bytes that does web development stuff. And I do developer experience and DevRel for Builder.io, the company behind Qwik. Yes. You can find me online on Twitter and all kinds of places. Hamato Yogi. If you want to know why I'm called that way, come ask me. And I work for Builder.io, right? Just in general, Builder.io is a drag and drop headless CMS. It's basically you can connect to any sort of stack and then have a drag and drop editor where you can register components and work components. It's an API driven CMS. You can bring your own components and it'll help you reduce tickets. That is the TLDR. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? I'm going to do a little intro just for people that are unfamiliar with Qwik, just talk about general stuff on how it works. Shai covered a lot of it, but so I might just skip a few slides. We're going to talk about some primitives. We're going to talk about server communications and multi-threading. So a little quick intro. Yeah, obviously. So yes, you've seen this sentence a few times today. Create instantly interactive web apps at any scale without effort. So that is Qwik. I hope that is clear right now. Let's see some basics. So Shai showed this, and this is like the basics of it. JS6 is used for templating, pretty familiar to React or Solid or any other JS6 system. We also use JS6 is a language we use for one of our open source libraries, Mitosis. You write JSX and then it outputs code for like Angular and React and Qwik and whatever you want. And we have signals that allow reactivity and state. So signals are for fine-grained reactivity. You declare a reactive value. Let me just bump up my slides here. So you declare a reactive value. You can mutate that value, and that only updates the DOM. That specific, watch out. That specific DOM node, right? So this is not like re-render anything. Shai mentioned this already. And then you just read it. The value mutation only updates the DOM node. But okay, so we said that Qwik creates instantly interactive web apps, but what prevents like other apps from being instantly interactive? So we saw hydration. Shai talked about it, right? But there's one key thing that really, really makes a difference. And that is closures. Okay? Can anybody tell me here, is everybody familiar with what a closure is in JavaScript? I see nodding. Don't be shy, don't be shy. We're gonna also, don't be shy, where is he? Not here. We're gonna just go over, there he is. We're gonna just go over like in the real simple terms. This is like really high level abstract just to go over. So we have a function, we have state, right? Very abstractly, a closure encapsulates a function and state, right? And if we kind of imagine the JavaScript app structure in memory, it's kind of like a tree, right? So let's say that blue little thing has an event listener that we want to attach on it. It references a state, and it's a closure, right? And it's impossible to extract that little box with current solutions until Qwik. So what is a solution? Well, we kind of just named this about an hour and a half ago, and we called it closure extraction. That's basically what the optimizer does. This is one of Qwik's superpowers. What does it mean? We take a closure, we actually extract it into a function, a module. And that is basically what the optimizer does. So we take one closure, take it out, second closure, take it out. Yeah, you see slides on online, but forgive me for that. Sorry. In order to create the int tabs, we need one of Qwik's superpowers. We said that. So what enables this little trick, right? This super magic trick. You see those? You saw that component dollar. We saw that on click dollar. It is the mighty dollar. It is a marker, right? It's basically tells both the developer and the compiler that this is something we need to extract out, right? Just take it out. What? There's all kinds of like on-click dollar, server dollar, route loader dollar, action dollar, worker dollar. Like somebody's obsessed with money. Where is he? Mishko, where are you? There he is. That guy's obsessed with dollars. And there's also a competition inside Builder.io. So Steve, if you don't know Steve, Stewell is the CEO of Builder.io. Does all kinds of cool content. And he's doing a petition for Mishko to get a $1 tattoo. And when we get to 100, let's say 150 likes, I think Mishko will go for it and get it. So like that tweet. Okay, so the Qwik optimizer, talked about a little bit, but the idea of the optimizer is it goes around and optimizes stuff, all right? It goes searching for dollars inside your code base and tries to optimize. It takes those chunks, breaks them up, and then it creates modules out of them. Chunks for everything, all right? And that helps us do stuff, like we said in this sentence, without effort, right? But interestingly, the same capability that allows Instant, it opens up a lot of developer experience possibilities, right? And Chai started talking about those. This kind of allows server-client communication bridge, right? So let's see what this thing looks like, right? So every app needs data, right? You want to just, I don't know, render a list of users, get a list of products, get data from, I don't know, news site or whatever you want to do. So most basic part, we have route loader. Route loader is very similar. Again, chime into this, inspired by all the meta frameworks around, right? Then again, this is powered by Qwik City. And Qwik City is a meta framework, yada, yada, yada. But bottom line, it's part of Qwik, right? And very similar to kind of Remix or Next.js. It has a way to get your data into your app before the render, right? So you can have server-side rendering and have your data already rendered as HTML. So the right route loader, traditionally, like also, I'll talk about this in a second, but to do this without a framework or without a meta framework, it's kind of a hassle, right? So if you want to go get data, think about what you need to do as a developer. You need to kind of hook up and wire up an endpoint, right? Call that endpoint. You need to get the data, then you need to pass that data into the client. A lot of steps you need to take to get that. And here, you basically just have a call to your database, get your data straight up, and then it is in your component. You return it, and it's available in the client just by calling a function. Okay, let's see how we do data implementations. Again, this is like going to keep this very simple, high level. I had a very more complicated talk, like I said, had a lot of errors and stuff, but we're going to just look at the basics. So to do mutations, we also have a kind of a helper, the route action. Route action, again, we can access the database safely because it only runs on the server, right? You can return data to the client from a form submission. And again, sorry, something I forgot to mention, a route action, again, is in charge of you handling forms, okay? Submitting forms. So if you submit a form, you can get the data back into your client component. But what is something cool, you also get type safety with Zod. If you're not familiar with Zod helps also. You're doing a no. Not familiar with Zod? Yes, no, he wasn't. Anyway, Zod just helps do runtime validation and helps type safety. And it's also progressively enhanced. What does that mean? Look, no JavaScript. So, like Shai, I went into the DevTools. Unlike Shai, I did not choose 3D. I disabled JavaScript, right? And you see that little icon showing. Then I kind of enter a name into a form. Again, this is just a name and an email I need to put. And then hit the button. And once it's successful, you'll see a little post up on top. Means I did it. I did it. No JavaScript. This was only done by me submitting a form. This form actually went and called like an endpoint, right? And then navigated away. So I got back. No JavaScript. But we have more stuff that is possible, that is going to make your life easier as a developer, right? We have all kinds of all-purpose server functions. And they're marked with server $. This is kind of like an RPC mechanism, right? This creates a way for you to communicate between your server and client without worrying something that'll leak to the client. But you can also pass arguments into it, right? You can call this function from the client and it'll run on the server. You can pass arguments, and this little piece of code is going to only run on the server, right? Also, like the greeting itself was declared on the server. This console log will run on the server, but this data is going to return to the client. So that's pretty nifty, if you ask me. There's also, you could do streaming and get the stream back from your server and render it on the client streaming-wise, but I'm not going to get into that. This is diving too deep. We have REST endpoints really easily. All you have to do to declare a REST endpoint is have a file. You have to be in an index TS file, not a TSX, right? Because we're not writing JSX. This is only TS. Or, by the way, we can do this and have a page that renders HTML, has JSX, but also has an endpoint. All endpoints, all stuff in the server are basically middlewares in Qwik. Okay, so you can have on get, you have on post, you have on put, and you can have like general middlewares using on request. And documentation is being worked on this still. I know Mishko showed me a PR. But wait, there's more. Like I mentioned, we have an option to run our code on a service worker with just one little package that Manu was able to kind of whip out in about a day, which was possible just because of the optimizer, the fact that we have the $ as a primitive, and you could like extract the closure and decide where this thing is going to run. So it can run just out of web worker. All you need to do to get your code running in a web worker, which is, why would you want to do that? Is like if you have something that is really computationally expensive, or you want to kind of create another thread, do multi-threading in JavaScript, you call a worker. So this will call a worker and run this code on a service worker. Okay. Because Shai took up so much time, I tried to run it faster and see that we can just do this little kind of overview of stuff that we have. So to recap, we did a little intro, we saw JSX, we looked at primitives with signals and the closure extraction, the $, the optimizer. We saw how we can fetch data with route loader. We saw how we can submit forms with the route action. We saw server $, how we do endpoints, and worker $. And I plan to kind of have the more advanced talks in future meetings. So hopefully we see you all again. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.